in my files, the material that you can find. After bishop f4, we had the initial position of London variation. Black responds with knight f6. That means that this repertoire will be a good fit for both first d5 and knight f6 moves after d4. White's main choice here definitely e3, and black responds with c5. And this is the reason why I call it challenging repertoire. The main alternative is e6, but in this case bishop on c8 remains passive. Now after c5, black hoping to develop bishop to f5 and then play e6, and that's definitely more aggressive approach. Now first of all, if you decide to play c5, you have to study dc5 move. After dc5, black can regain pawn right away with queen a5 check, but in this case they are far from equality, and therefore I decided to go with move e6. The pawn is under attack and white has to respond with b4 in order to justify the strategy. After b4, there is a thematic attack of the pawn structure with a5. c3 is practically the only move. Now, in my famous book, Beating First d4 Sidelines, that I published in 2012, I recommended knight c6, but the theory has evolved and the position after bishop b5, bishop d7, queen b3 is very unclear and double-edged. Therefore, a very important move here, bishop d7, that have been played first by Wesley So. In this game against Nakamura, he actually gained a very easy equality. After seemingly logical queen b3 but probably objectively bad move, he responded with a b4, c b4, b6, keeping attack on the white's pawn structure. After bishop d6, he responded with knight a4, and it's transpired that actually white cannot capture on f8 due to queen f6 double attack. Rook is hanging on a1 as well as pawn on f2, and actually black is winning. So Nakamura responded with queen b2, but after knight takes d6, cd6, queen f6, very precise move, he forced queen straight, then regained the pawn on d6, and actually this position is strategically winning for black. Now, this is dc5 line, queen b3, as I mentioned, not the best move. There are like other better choices for white. It's a very fascinating game, I promise you guys. So you can find all this information in my files. So instead of dc5, the normal response for white is c3. In this case, we develop knight c6. Now knight f3 is, I believe, the most popular move. There is as well knight d2. In this case, we are able to get our idea. Bishop f5, develop knight f3, e6, and in general, black has no problems whatsoever with very good setup. After knight f3, we have to respond with aggressive queen b6, targeting the pawn b2. It's very thematic move for this pawn structure. White's best response here, queen b3, offering queen straight. c4, so offering queen straight on best conditions, because after queen b6, a b6, we have a very nice positional idea, b5, b4. Therefore, white usually retreats with the queen to c2. So, but this allows tactical trick, bishop f5. Our bishop is untouchable because in this case we take on b2, so it's not only pawn but also rook on a1. Queen c1 is practically forced, and now we have a pretty logical sequence of moves for both sides here. e6, h3, bishop e7, why h3, it secures bishop on f4 against the idea knight h5, knight d2, h6, similar idea, securing the bishop on f5 against knight h4, bishop e2, castle and castle. So this position actually I checked right before this video, and there have been 188 games, so it's very popular position, very complicated positional fight, and There are many plans here, but I believe I was able to provide the